You're watching WKYT News at noon.
WKYT News at 12:30. Barbara Bailey and Bill Bryant reporting. For the 8th time in 2016, a pedestrian has been struck and killed by a vehicle in Lexington.
It's happened all too often. It's the second highest total for the data that the county has been tracking all the way back to at least 1996. The latest has happened this morning. 26-year-old Dylan Hahn was walking on Richmond Road when he was hit by a car near North Eagle Creek. WKYT's Lauren Miner's been tracking the situation all day. She joins us now with our top story at 12:30. Lauren?
Police say it was around 7 this morning when Hahn was hit walking across Richmond Road. They say they are still trying to figure out, though, where he was going or coming from. Police say Hahn was hit in the outbound lane between Eagles Creek and Squires Road. We're told by police that a woman was driving outbound on Richmond Road when she hit him. Hahn was taken to UK Hospital with life-threatening injuries. The Fayette County coroner confirmed a short time ago he died from those injuries. No charges are being filed against the driver. Police are still trying to determine why he was crossing Richmond Road at that particular spot. Police had the outbound lane shut down between Eagles Creek and Squires Road for about an hour and a half this morning. Hahn was hit just a few hundred yards from where I'm standing. Now, there are crosswalks at both stoplights in the area, but Hahn was not near either one of them. Reporting in Lexington, Lauren Miner, WKYT.
Lauren, thank you. And the Fayette County coroner tells us that Hahn died from blunt force trauma to the head.
Another busy Lexington road was closed for most of the morning after an early morning crash. The accident happened about 4:30 this morning on North Broadway at 5th Street. Inbound North Broadway was shut down between 5th and 6th until just a little over an hour ago. Police say a car hit a fire hydrant and then a utility pole before flipping several times. Fortunately, they say the driver is expected to be okay. Damage to the pole was extensive. The collision had morning rush hour traffic backed up for hours.
2 Detroit men have been arrested in Lexington accused of trying to use false gift cards. Ahmad Carter and Michael Livingston Jr. were arrested yesterday. Police say they found dozens of re-encoded gift cards that were in a hidden compartment in their car. They say the men tried to use the fake cards in Nicholasville. And in Boyle County, police are looking for a man who tried to rob a gas station late last night. It happened just after 10 o'clock at the BP Triangle Mart at South 4th Street and South 3rd Street in Danville. Police say a man entered the store asking for cigarettes, then pulled a gun on employees, but ran off moments later. Police say the suspect was wearing blue jeans, a black hoodie sweatshirt, and a white baseball cap. A Clark County judge is considering the case of James Pelfrey, the 84-year-old man accused of killing 2 women in a car accident back in June on the Winchester bypass. Pelfrey's lawyer today asked if his client could be placed on home arrest. A
lot to sort out in this case. According to Richmond police, or the Winchester police, Pelfrey was blinded by bright lights when he crashed into cars waiting at a red light. Last week, a grand jury indicted Pelfrey on 2 charges of second-degree manslaughter and 1 of second-degree assault. Pelfrey has been in jail since that, but today's attorney asked for home incarceration. Prosecutors said they disagree with that move because Pelfrey had 2 more accidents after that crash. Lamar Stanford will be arraigned in just a few minutes at the Fayette County Courthouse. He's the Tates Creek High School student who was arrested for bringing a loaded gun to school yesterday. According to Stanford's arrest citation, the law enforcement officer on duty saw the handle of a gun sticking out of Stanford's pocket. When the officer tried to take him into custody, Stanford allegedly began to resist and reached for the gun. Stanford told police that he did not intend to hurt anybody at school. Well, tomorrow will mark the 1-year anniversary since Richmond police officer Daniel Ellis was shot in the line of duty.
Police say Officer Ellis was shot while investigating a robbery. He died 2 days later. Tomorrow morning, Richmond police will hold a moment of silence for their fallen officer in front of the police department. It will take place at 10:30 a.m., the exact time when Officer Ellis was shot. Police are asking the community to join them in a moment of silence.
5 days and counting until Election Day, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are holding dueling rallies in the crucial state of North Carolina. In Arizona, Clinton painted a dire picture of Trump as president. Trump spent the day in Florida yesterday, hammering Clinton over the FBI's inquiry into her email server. Campaigning for Clinton in North Carolina, President Obama indirectly criticized FBI Director James Comey over the controversy. The last time the Chicago Cubs won the World Series, nobody heard it on the radio. That's because the first baseball game wasn't broadcast until 1921, so radio wasn't around the first time.
But now the drought is over, and an incredible game that ended early this morning. The Cubs beat the Indians 8-7 in 10 innings to win the World Series.
Here's the 0-1.
The historic World Series finale.
The Cubs win the World Series!
Followed an unprecedented 17-minute rain delay.
Zobrist gets a base hit.
Series MVP Ben Zobrist gave the Cubs the lead over the Indians for good with this 10th inning double.
It's like a heavyweight fight, man. Blow for blow, everybody playing their heart out.
Teammate Miguel Montero helped secure the victory.
They've always blown it so many years before. This is just the greatest feeling in the world.
Fans were left on the edge of their seats at the bottom of the 8th when Cleveland outfielder Rajai Davis hit this game-tying home run.
This whole place erupted. It was an awesome moment.
In the end, the Cubs were victorious, rallying back from a 3-1 series deficit, finally ending decades of heartbreak.
Your family has been waiting 108 years for this.
This is tremendous. Still can't believe it.
Back in Chicago, celebrations immediately spilled from the bars to the streets as fans hailed the end of the curse of the Billy Goat.
There's nothing to do with the curses.
Cubs manager Joe Maddon attributed the win to skill.
Superstition has nothing to do with what's happening today. Nothing. And if you want to believe in that kind of stuff, it's going to hold you back for a long time.
With the drought now over, plans for an epic victory parade are underway. Marley Hall, CBS News, Cleveland, Ohio.
Well, I don't think he believes in the curse of the Billy Goat, right? Ben Zobrist, the series' most valuable player, is a former Lexington legend. He played the first part of the 2005 season in Lexington and was named to the midseason All-Star team. He also was part of the Kansas City Royals championship team last season.
And more connections here as well. Sam Holbrook from Lexington was the plate umpire. He's from Lexington, no arguments. So,
he's the
but
EKU
he was right there,
graduate, right? Yeah,
right there in the middle of all of it.
Okay, well, so he must have done a great job. Medical researchers are looking into the long-term effects of smoking on patients with HIV.
And the number of children with too much salt in their diet is probably going to surprise you. Those stories coming up.
We have some rain to the northern zones and trying to make its way over toward the east and central zones too. It's not a lot of rain, but it's there and it could affect the rest of your afternoon, off into your evening hours. We're going to go over your plans and also your weekend forecasts coming up.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Got a little rain out there at this moment. None of this any drought killers or anything like that, but at least it's some rain. So we're looking out really to the northern zones and back toward the west. That's where it's moving in from. Eastern zones, it's going to take a little bit of time to actually get there, but we are seeing some roll right down 150, and that's rolling off into Perryville as we speak. And then also heads up Boyle County. If you're in Danville, Junction City, that's where you're going to be seeing some come out of Washington County. A lot of this is just very light. None of this is really going to add up in the rainfall gauge that much. And most of this today, virtually all of it, is going to be mainly just showers. Not so much thunderstorms, not so much heavy downpours. I do expect some here and there, but like I said, none of this is really going to be a drought killer. So heads up Danville, heads up Junction City if you're working your way across 150. Harrodsburg and northbound, as you go from Harrodsburg to Salvisa to Lawrenceburg all the way to Frankfort, you guys are going to get on the mix very shortly. I would say Versailles, right around that area, including Lexington, within the next hour or two. So heads up for a few showers rolling on in. And that'll take you off into your evening hours. Our high temperatures today will be in the next couple of hours, sitting there in the mid-70s. And then we drop it as we go into the afternoon because of that rain. But remember, no severe weather. None of this is going to really add up that much. I wish it would, but it's just not. Heading off into the deep into the afternoon and evening hours. That's for you guys down in southeastern Kentucky that will pick up some decent rain. Not a lot. You need a lot because you're dealing with stuff like this. How great is this shot? Not great in terms of what's happening, but just an amazing looking shot from afar. That's the fire on the mountain right there, and that is from Brad Lambden. Really, really wild shot seeing there from south and southeastern Kentucky. And unfortunately, that rain, it's just not a lot of rain. We need buckets of rain falling on south and southeastern Kentucky to knock that out. We still got some fire bans going on down south, too. So unexciting is the way I like to put it with this rain. It's good, but it's just not enough. Much cooler air to work with there on Friday, sitting there in the 50s and 60s, guys. And then toward the weekend, we're finally back to around average, right there in the low to mid 60s and staying dry. A lot of sunshine there for the weekend.
And this word just coming in, Governor Matt Bevin has just declared a state of emergency over those fires. So
needing that rain big time.
Rain.
Absolutely.
Right. Thank you. Coming next, why starting school later in the day could help teens learn.
And how smoking affects the health of those living with HIV. Chris Martinez has details in this Better Living report.
Researchers at Massachusetts General Hospital say smoking significantly reduces the lifespan of people living with HIV, possibly more than the disease does itself. The study found smokers with HIV can develop related diseases, such as lung cancer, more often than those who aren't infected, and cut their lifespan by more than 8 years. Health experts say nearly 90% of American children eat too much salt, well in excess of dietary guidelines. A study looked at the eating habits of more than 2,000 children. Researchers say a preference for salty foods developed early in life continues on into adulthood, putting them at greater risk for cardiovascular problems. And doctors blame daytime sleepiness and a tendency to stay up late on teens being out of sync with school schedules. Researchers say their finding supports starting school later in the day to better match teens' natural body clock patterns. Those are some of today's top health stories. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Coming right up, knowing the signs of dementia and how to help prevent it.
Details about a community forum taking place this weekend. Stay with us.
Welcome back. Great to have you here on WKYT. If dementia is a subject you would like to know more about, we have an opportunity for you. The UK Sanders Brown Center on Aging is holding the Marksbury Symposium for the community.
To tell us more about it, we're joined by Dr. Liz Head with the Marksbury Symposium. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
What can people expect if they come? What are the sort of things that will be covered?
So the topics this year are going to include how to keep your brain healthy. So we have Dr. Gary Small coming from UCLA, who's published several books on this, and he's an expert on healthy brain aging. And the second major topic is something that's a little underappreciated, so we're giving this a little more attention this time, is taking care of the caregivers. So we'll have a nice talk about that.
And that's very important. But I want to go back to that healthy brain. Can we reverse some of the effects if people are already into that, if you really pay attention and you know, have a good diet and everything else?
There is some, you can actually reverse some of it to a point that probably the quality of your life would be much better. So all of these things, there are changes you can affect in your brain that'll support learning and memory again. So absolutely, there's a very good reason to listen and learn.
Very important.
Is there emerging evidence as well that, you know, working the brain just as you work muscles in your body is helpful to keep everything active?
It's a use it or lose it kind of thing. It is a muscle. The more you use it, the more growth factors are released in your brain, the more connections you make. So if you do start to lose some of these connections, you have more to fall down from. So absolutely, good evidence.
You were talking about the caregivers. I think always the focus can be on the patient, but it really is something that affects the entire family and the caregivers.
Very much so. And if a caregiver doesn't get enough support, then they can't take good care of the person who has a dementia or a learning or memory problem. So the more that they seek out support groups, the better they can take care of themselves and their families.
You know, it seems we hear so much more about this these days. Is it that it is diagnosed more often, or do we really have more of a proliferation of dementia?
That's a really good question. I think it's a combination of both. Number one is we're diagnosing earlier, which is great because that's a good time to try to intervene. But the second is we're getting older. Our older population is getting older, and that's the biggest risk factor for dementia, is age.
Obviously, a lot of very important topics to be discussed. Is it too late for people to sign up for this?
Absolutely not. In fact, we encourage you to contact us. I believe there'll be information up on screen. We have room, and we're delighted to offer a nice breakfast and an opportunity to interact with scientists and other families.
All right, free breakfast as well. So it's Saturday morning, 8:30 until noon at the Lexington Convention Center in the Bluegrass Ballroom, the big room there. Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Good luck. Well, coming next, he's known for his entertaining and off-the-wall performances that deliver a lot of laughs.
Comedian Pablo Francisco is in the studio next on WKYT.
Welcome back to WKYT. Great to have you here. Fans all over the world flock to his shows to experience some of the funniest off-the-wall comedy ever unleashed, and now he's here.
I can't wait. We're happy to have comedian Pablo Francisco with us today. Welcome.
Welcome. Well, thank you for having me. Are you in good hands with Allstate? Do Decepticons and Transformers usually become a liability with Allstate? Sometimes they morph into a Mini Cooper. Why am I doing Allstate guy? But
you just take off, don't you? That's great. I love it.
Well, I was going to ask you what that hat means.
Oh, it says you the funny man. You know, so usually, you know, at a show, if there's an audience member who's like, you know, yelling out, he's always going, "You the funny man," because he's a heckler kind of guy. So, you know, we just goof off and put the hats on there.
I like it. It works.
You the funny man. There you go, right there.
When did you start doing all of these different characters? Did you torture your teachers or your parents at home? When did you start?
Well, it all started when my brother borrowed money from me, right? And in order for me to get the money back, you know, if you say it in your normal voice, you know, he goes, "Oh, I don't want to give you the money." But if you go as Chris Rock, "Give me my money. I want my money now. Stop gambling. Will you give me that money?" And it just, after that, start rolling around. That comes out of my mouth. But anyhow, you make fun of your friends' parents, and it starts off like that, and then it gets into the Kermit the Frogs, of course, and then to Mark Wahlberg's. You know, "Hey man, this Mark Wahlberg, huh? You're breathing heavy. Come on, man, huh?" So it's
and you told us you were working on some new ones right now.
Yeah, working on the new ones. We were trying to Liam Neeson. You stay away from my family. You stay away from them right now. That's right. Mark Wahlberg's in every movie. Get ready this summer. "Hey man, I'm in your movie. You stay away from my family." Gonna bring it lower, a little higher. You know, but Gary Busey. "Hey, how you doing?" "All right there. How you ladies doing?" There you go.
Oh, that's good. So when you see something like a movie or anything out there, you're seeing it as to, oh, there's a new character.
There could be a joke. I mean, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, everybody says Arnold Schwarzenegger, but, you know, I'm getting older, so instead of "I'll be back," it's "I'll my back," that kind of thing, you know. So it's a little funny, you know, making fun of the old and the new, and, you know, come to the show. It's a fun show. It's ADDEFG.
Right. So here we are 5 days before the election. You know, do you do any of the presidential people? Or
well, you know what? It's going to be huge. I'm trying my best to do my Trump. Steve Kramer, who's on the show, he does great impersonations, and he's like Family Guy divided by the square root of Saturday Night Live, and he does them all. He does the huge, "I love you, why am I doing an L? Huge." That's my biggest Trump I can do.
That's really great.
We appreciate you coming in. Pablo Francisco is going to be out at Comedy Off Broadway. Right. It's your first appearance there, right?
Yeah, it's going to be fun. You know, just start the party at the Pablo House. I mean, at the Comedy Off Broadway. And we have 2 shows this weekend. We have Friday and Saturday 2 shows. One tonight, Thursday, and Sunday, of course. We have 1 show. Start the party there.
Lots of great opportunities.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're going to love the club out there.
Right on. Mentos.
Thank you.
All right, let's check in. We've just, within the past half hour, had a state of emergency declared by the governor because of these wildfires. Let's check in with Micah on weather.
Yeah, so this rain is definitely good news for us. The problem is that it's not a lot of rain, okay? We're not going to get tremendous downpours out of this. It's not going to add up there in the rainfall gauge, but at least it's something. It's going to help. But there are your showers up toward the northern zone, slowly making their way east and southeast. We have a few little stragglers back toward the BG Parkway, heading in toward the Bluegrass region here in the next hour or 2. Down toward the south and southeast, you guys, it's going to take a while. So it's going to take another 4 hours or so, maybe even a little bit longer than that, to actually reach you guys. So kids coming home from school down south and southeast, I don't see them being affected. It's mainly after that, when, say, you're going out to dinner or trying to cook out or whatever it may be. So that's when the rain starts to move on in for the southeast. It's going to take some time, but it will get there. Guys, 4 p.m., Chris Bailey's going to be in here. He's going to be talking about that cooler air that's rushing in behind that. Once again, that's on WKYT News at 4.
All right, Micah, thank you so much. And we want to thank you for joining us on WKYT News at noon.
Make it a great day, everybody.